Hello everyone. Today we're talking about reflecting on teaching. We're looking at element 4A, the basic level. At this level, just like in the movies, Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. The teacher with these skills can handle some of the truth some of the time, but they need to be able to tell the truth to themselves, about themselves all the time in order to move into the proficient or the distinguished level. So how do you handle the truth? The purpose of this skill is to make adjustments as you go. Everyone's going to lose their balance a little bit, but the basic teacher is basically much like a new teacher right out of college. They haven't spent enough time on the rope to learn those skills and make them part of what they do every day. So making adjustments will become easier for you as you go along. A quote of the basic teacher, "Oh man, I did a fantastic job." How do you know? Maybe you did for the group in the middle, but everyone? And how do you know for sure? Another way of looking at things, another quote by the basic teacher is, "Most everyone seemed to get it, so we're moving on." The important thing to the basic teacher is getting through the lesson, not necessarily student outcomes. So as you go along, realize that this is an acquired skill. You'll get better at it as you go. Today we're talking about the basic level of element 4B, maintaining accurate records. This is the basic level. This is what would be expected of a brand new teacher. Student completion of assignments. It needs to be, we look at it and say, okay, at what level are they keeping track of student completion of assignments? A lot of times the way we can tell if this is done well is if we get complaints from parents. If the parents are aware, then that is proficient or distinguished. But if there's problems, complaints coming from parents on student completion of assignments, then we know that it's more likely to be either basic or unsatisfactory. Student progress in learning is kept, but it's just not kept at the proficient level or the distinguished level. It's kind of hit or miss. Daily routines are taken care of somewhat by the teacher. The kids don't have a lot of input in that, and it's just not consistent. There is an effort to do it, but it's just not consistent at the basic level. The students aren't able to explain their own learning progress at the basic level. It just hasn't happened yet. So a lot of times we'll ask students how you're doing, and if they don't know, you're more likely to get a basic rating. The students do not participate in routine record keeping. The teacher does all of that, but does it on an inconsistent basis. Today we're talking about element 4C, teachers' relationship with families. We're looking at the basic level. These are expectations of a teacher that is new to the profession or is still growing in the skills that they are using to better teach the children. Information about the instructional program at this level is still sketchy to the basic teacher. So it's just a little rough, and so it's not, they're a little timid. They're timid about fully sharing with parents everything that they need to know. They're unaware of information about individual students, or they're aware to a certain level, but it's cursory nonetheless. The basic teacher has not yet learned how to engage families in the instructional program. They just haven't gained that skill yet, and it's obvious when you see that. Regular communications, well, the basic teacher, because they're not sure about how that works, it's not regular, it's infrequent, it's sketchy. And there are times with the basic teacher when they come to a parent-teacher conference, when parents come to those conferences, there are surprises, and it's not a pretty sight. So the number one thing that these teachers can work on at this point is making sure that there are no surprises. Do not surprise your parents. Today we're talking about participating in a professional community. We're talking at the basic level, 4D basic. At this level, it's what you would expect of a brand new teacher. Relationships with colleagues, they're just not sure exactly where they fit in or how they can contribute. They just hold back a little bit. They're willing to help if they are asked, and they do what they can. But again, it's what you would expect of a new teacher, and not a veteran teacher or a distinguished teacher. As far as the culture of teacher improvement, they know that they should want to improve. They make an attempt at improving. They'll take some classes and these kinds of things. But as far as really contributing to a culture of teacher improvement, they're just not there yet. They just haven't been in the process of being a teacher for long enough. Service to the school. They give service when they're asked. They're not ones that will jump forward and say, "Hey, let me do this." They're trying to survive, trying to do the very best they can. And when it comes to school and district projects, they tend to feel like, I'm just not that sure. I'm trying to keep my head above water. So that's what I'm doing as a basic teacher. Today we're talking about growing and developing professionally. We're looking at element 4E, basic. On this, the teachers haven't been in the profession long enough to have a wide array of tools, of teaching skills. So they are working on those. They are coming along. It's what you would expect of a new teacher, someone new to the profession that is trying to develop new skills. Sometimes they can be a little resistant to feedback because they're just not sure of themselves. They just haven't been in the profession that long, and so they may not be that accepting of feedback. As far as leaders in the building and giving service back to the profession, they need more time. They need more time in order to give service to the profession.